joining us today on our special climate theme as we celebrate the badass climate and immigration reform ninja, U.S. President Barack Obama, to talk about the recent climate accord between the USA and China, is our very special guest, our fourth muckraker this week. Drum roll, please. The environmental journalist Robert Hunsaker, who joins us very early this morning, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time from Los Angeles. Hello, Robert.
Hi, Dennis. Hi. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, man. And we're kind of freeform here, and we do try to take things a little bit easier. We try to begin each episode with a look at things we find of interest that may or may not have a political twist to them. I want to talk a little bit about some very interesting headlines that have been in the news. I'm going to label it the USA compassion deficit. Now, we had a 90-year-old Florida pastor arrested for feeding the homeless. We had a state representative use a sledgehammer on television to actually destroy the possessions of some homeless people. And Indiana Governor Mike Pence said, and I quote, "If we give food to the unemployed, it will ennoble them to do nothing." So, what the heck is going on when you have people in power doing these sorts of
Unbelievable. I mean, there's that description of homeless people as, well, a very, very derogatory description of homeless people. I mean, it's not just a purely American thing. It's a kind of right across the world thing, this denigration of people who do not have stuff. You know, I mean, there's a whole range of reasons why people do not have stuff. And, you know, one of them may be that they are down on their luck, they're alcoholic perhaps. There's a whole host of reasons, and you can't denigrate and, characterize people in a certain way. It's as simple as that.
Robert, what's it like in Los Angeles?
Well, you hit a hot button because our streets are full of homeless people. I think we have over 100,000 homeless people in West Los Angeles alone. And of course, the community where I live, Santa Monica, Venice, they feed the homeless. There are food lines all over the place. And, a lot of them are vets. If you go, and actually my wife actually ran a homeless feeding program for her school for a number of years. And she would bring the children out to the beach, and they would set up tables, and in lines of 100, 200, 300, 400 lineup of people would come to be fed every day. She did that for 4 years. A lot of them were vets. It was amazing. A number of them were young guys who had served in Iraq or Afghanistan or wherever. And so, and a lot of people, when you talk to them, really have quite a bit of substance, by the way, and very bright and politically astute. And so it's a very sad commentary that we have people who look down on people who are down and out. They're not down and out by choice.
Dario, how do you, Robert, how do you explain the differences across the USA in the way in which the homeless are treated? I mean, you mentioned in Santa Monica, Venice, and I lived in north of Santa Monica for a while, for about 3 years. There tends to be a bit more compassion than in other parts. Is that what you see?
Oh, well, well, the compassion thing is absolutely stands tall in Los Angeles, in the Los Angeles area. It really does. Now, I should say this: as the community's gentrification takes hold, especially in Venice, these type of people, which is a different mindset than the typical artistic community that Venice is known for, have started to initiate movements to drive the homeless out. They don't want them parking RV vans anywhere in their communities. They don't want them hanging out in their communities. So that's become somewhat of an issue for the first time since I can recall, and I've been here about 20 years. Gentrification does it. Then they become lepers rather than just people who need help. And it's really, really a sad situation. But it all dovetails with the type of mentality that is spewed out of the right wing in this country, and it has the airwaves.
Hey, Dario, what have you seen so far in Mexico, or perhaps maybe Cornwall's a better example?
Well, just walking around in the last couple of days, the poverty is really endemic here. There's people on every street corner really begging for money, and the mothers with their little children next to them, and it's really heartbreaking. And the way that this comes across, it's kind of like a real life version of the Hunger Games taking place in reality, but I doubt Jennifer Lawrence is going to come to the rescue. Once again, these Republicans and the rich, it's interesting to me because they seem to show that ideology for them trumps empathy, but also seems to trump simple common sense. And plus you get the institutionalization of this lack of empathy. So in the UK, for example, the government, there was this story of spaces where homeless people would stay, like under bridges or next to buildings, and they were putting these pavements in where the homeless people couldn't sit down, so they were kind of like little raised parts underneath the building. So they were trying to create spaces, no-go spaces for the homeless people, as if they want them to just simply disappear. But the homeless people have got to go somewhere. They can't cease to exist.
Crazy, crazy. Let's shift gears a little bit, guys. We've talked, and Robert, you weren't part of this, but we have an alleged airport here in Cardiff, Wales, and I say alleged. It is something that the government ended up turning around having to purchase for £52 million, about $80 million. And now we've just learned that they've been extended another £3.5 million line of credit to attract, quote, new air routes to the airport. Money. Are we throwing good money after bad? Phil, Dario, Robert, you can weigh in as well.
It's an amazing situation, really. I mean, I just want to put this in context, right? Cardiff Airport is a hop and a skip away, really, from Bristol Airport over the Severn Channel. Bristol Airport is doing very, very well. Cardiff Airport is not doing very, very well, and has been bought for, as Dennis said, £52 million by the Welsh Government, i.e. us. And to put that in context, Glasgow's Prestwick Airport was bought by the Glasgow government, Scottish government, for £1. And since passenger numbers are continuing to decline, there was a bit of a upbeat last year, but this year they've gone down still. And so they've extended this £3.5 million credit facility to them. I mean, it's just unbelievable, really. Just beggars belief. I mean, you wouldn't have this in America, would you, Robert? I'm sure.
I don't know. It sounds so bizarre to me. I don't quite understand what they're trying to do there.
I don't think anybody understands.
Well, that's probably the right answer at this point. Well, that's probably a good point for us to take our first break, because it does beggar belief.